What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Beauty and the Bold. Will you get yourself together over there?
What? Don't pick on me.
Are you a girl boss?
Yeah, I just wanted to get some support from the Biden administration, so I figured I can say that, right? That's funny. I can say that, right? Actually, just recently found out that Caitlin was slightly below average because the average weight of a woman in the United States of America is 170 pounds, and she's just a smidge below that.
A smidge?
Just a smidge below. Yeah, what do you weigh?
Go ahead, take your guess.
Like 140?
You weigh 140.
I weigh more than 140. Don't do that.
No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. He weighs literally 140.
No, I don't. It's a lie. You should be grateful.
I bet you're way below average for the average man.
I am. So you're just going to pick on my insecurities and berate me and balloon me and hurt my feelings in front of everybody? See what I deal with, guys?
And I'm the manipulative one. I'm
She just gaslighting me.
That is not the definition of gaslighting.
She was just gaslighting me, wasn't she, guys? Get behind this, all right?
We have got, as a society, we have got to figure out what the definition of gaslighting is.
And misogynist.
Because, yeah. And narcissist.
Yeah, and narcissist.
Because, like, we be stretching what these words mean.
I'm not 140. I'm like 145. And
It's the same thing.
And the reason I'm 145 is because I fasted my weight. I was 177 before. Yeah, I was 177, and I fasted, and I lost, quick math, 33 pounds, 32 pounds. And I haven't returned my weight, but I've been running a lot of cardio. So I haven't been eating a lot of calories, so I've been kind of doing calorie deficit, so I've been starving myself. So my weight's not really 145. It's just restricted right now. It's
just what the scale says when he steps on it.
It's just restricted right now.
It's just the scale's lying.
The scale's not lying. Okay, there's just a scientific process. I don't gaslight.
What even is the definition of gaslighting?
It's just a made-up, stupid fucking word.
Manipulate using psychological methods into questioning their sanity or powers of reasoning. Right, you're laughing because that's you. You do that. An example of gaslighting would be a partner doing something abusive, then denying it happened.
Denying it happened?
Yeah, so like say...
Use one of your experiences.
Okay, say like your partner is on drugs and doesn't come home until like 2 a.m, right?
Right.
Doesn't tell you where they are or nothing. And like the next day is like, I wasn't on drugs. When like very clearly they were,
I used to do stuff like that.
Yeah. Not to me. This is from past experience. Or like...
I did drugs before I met her.
Or like you had like you have like physical evidence of their location. And they're like, I wasn't there. And you're like, bro, be fucking for real. But yeah, definitely like people who are on drugs do that. Have done that more to me than anyone else.
You see that impulse to beat me?
I was just uncrossing my arms.
No. She was about to...
Gaslighters, it's to make the other person feel crazy and to feel like they're wrong.
Yeah, so just to tie into that, before I met Caitlin, I had a couple run-ins with drugs throughout my life.
A couple
Few. Okay.
Couple few 100 years.
Yeah, I spent some time in rehab a couple times before I met her. The longest time I ever spent in rehab was 98 days. It worked for the most part. I guess I learned quite a bit about it, in myself. So that helped me. I used to...
You want to talk about which drugs?
Do heroin and cocaine.
Wow. Wowzers.
And so someone mentioned in a previous comment on our last podcast that if I had any experience in Suboxone and methadone, and should I be talking about it?
Yeah, basically saying like if you haven't been a substance abuse
person,
like, addiction person.
And I've been on Suboxone. I've been subscribed Suboxone. Prescribed Suboxone. And
subscribe to my YouTube.
I mean, what's the difference? Subscribe, prescribe. Like you subscribe to a daily dose. All right? Just a sprinkle of drugs.
Just a sprinkle.
But yeah, I was an intravenous drug user too. So I was the best of the best of the best. I did it the best way possible. Oh my God. Okay?
Don't tell people that.
I wasn't one that was like half foot in, half foot out. I was either all in or all out. And about 9 years ago, I think I have been off of about 9 years now. But it led me down some really dark paths. The first stint that I went to rehab, I went for 98 days. I came out, everything was pretty good for me. I still, I don't know, I drank occasionally. That really wasn't my thing. Still isn't, I don't know. I don't really drink at all, but I did sometimes. I didn't have any troubles. Then I got in a really bad motorcycle accident, and I broke my femur, had 48 staples in my knee. My big toe had 2 pins.
You got like a whole rod in your leg?
Yeah, I have a rod in my femur now. And I initially, did the morphine at the hospital because it was really painful. And I left without any painkillers or anything like that, but I had really bad scar tissue in my knee. So a few months down the road, I really couldn't bend my knee, and it was really painful. So I started taking painkillers again for my knee. I got to bend my knee out of the scar tissue. Everything went well. And then I kind of freaked out and was like, what am I doing still taking these painkillers? I got to get out of here. So I kind of moved away and I stopped taking them. I started getting into really good shape. I started to become a personal trainer at Gold's Gym. I worked out a lot. I started playing flag football a lot. And then I was playing flag football in the winter months, and my knee would be in a lot of pain during those times, and I couldn't play double headers. I couldn't, so I was like, damn, I'm letting my team down. My knee's aching. I played quarterback. So I started taking painkillers again for practice and for game day. And that probably led down to the biggest collapse of my life. I ended up losing everything, selling everything, all my money. My last ditch effort I did with all my money, I had like $2,300 left, is I went to the casino. I was high out of my mind, and I tried to use $2,300 in blackjack to make all my money back that I had lost spending it on drugs. And then I ended up losing all my money that day. I had to sell my watch to get gas to get home. And it just started getting worse. So I started stealing from like Walmart and Target. And then I ended up getting arrested for stealing from Walmart. I got a good lawyer, but I got in trouble. I had to go on probation. And then I was on probation, and then I relapsed again. So I got kicked out of my house. I ended up living in the woods for a couple months. I lived in a tent. I was panhandling. I was pretty much the lowest of low that you could get. And then I got caught stealing from Target again. And it was all petty theft, so I don't have any felony record, so that's good. But I got caught stealing from Target in a different county. And then some other things happened with my family, and my family was upset with me about some of the things that I pawned in my house. And so they kind of put some charges on me because they wanted me kind of just to stay in jail for a little bit longer, thinking that that would help me. So I ended up doing 7 months in jail in one county because I couldn't get out of jail because I had a violation of probation in another county.
How old were you when this happened?
25. Yeah.
Like almost 10 years ago?
Yeah, I spent my 26th birthday in jail.
So, yeah, it was 6. You probably almost been 10 years clean then?
Yeah. So 10 years ago this was. And I personally wouldn't change it for the world. I learned a lot about myself and the people that go to jail, for the most part. I learned that I really didn't fit in there, I did not fit in there.
He says he liked jail.
I liked it a lot.
He's like, I know why people come back.
I enjoyed it
He's
quite
like, you got
a
a
bit.
TV, you get 3 meals a day.
Yeah.
You have friends.
And I loved playing spades. And I tell you what, I probably was one of the best spade players there was. And I just thoroughly enjoyed a cup of coffee in the morning and just hanging out with the boys all day long. And then going to bed and reading books. I really found a fondness for reading books.
Didn't you get really big, too? Like, you worked out a lot?
Yeah, I got fat, but yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. And it was just peaceful, you know. Everybody there was sober. You know, that was a good thing. You didn't have to deal with any of the external social issues that we deal with when we're out in the real world. It was very, you know, and I started testing the population in a weird way, talking about gaslighting. So my dad would send me money, and I would take the money that I got, and I would buy a large amount of ramen noodles. And anybody that was kind of poor and lower level person financially that couldn't get money put on their books and stuff, I would basically give them food for free. And I did it in one pod population, and I reduced the stealing to 0. There was no stealing at all because everybody was fed. Everyone had things. I always gave things away. So people who didn't want to eat their trays, I would be like, yo, you want some soup? So I would take your tray, and then I'd give the tray of food to somebody else who wanted to eat it. And there was no stealing in this pod. And this is one of the jails I was in because I switched from Orange County to Seminole County. One of the jails, there was a lot of stealing. And I was like, dude, how do we get past this? You know, it's kind of crazy. But that was some of the things I did. I practiced some things, you know. I met really good people. I have one buddy, I'll never forget this story. He robbed a bank, or he attempted to. But he didn't like use a gun or anything. He just he went to go tell the lady to give him money, basically.
Without a gun?
Without a gun. And he had glasses on and everything, and he's like, put the money in the bag now. And she looked at him stupid, and she put like a quarter on the counter, and he got mad. He's like, put the money in the bag now. And then she put like a roll of quarters on the thing, and he left after that. And then his girlfriend told on him, and he ended up in jail.
Oh my gosh.
That was funny.
It does bother me to hear these stories. Yeah, because I cannot picture him in this way. Like, the man he is now is obviously the clean, sober, virtuous man, you know? I can't like ever picture him the way, and I mean, obviously he tells me crazy stories compared to what he'll ever share on here, especially like when we're driving through the parts of where he's experienced it, but I let him tell me because like I know you need to talk about it, like you have to be able to talk about stuff like that, but it doesn't bother me that he did that because obviously like it shaped who he is now, but it does bother me just because like when someone tells me a story, I try to picture it in my mind, and I hate trying to picture him in that way. And I think one of my biggest fears is that ever you becoming that person ever again. It, you know, it literally gives me nightmares like thinking about it. And it's like, I know you won't, but I know there's always that possibility for someone who's been addicted in the past. So that scares me.
Yeah, it sucks. I got kids now. I wish I could just fall off the deep end. It'd be so nice, you know.
Don't say that.
This is where I learned being a bitch was not an option. I got bitch slapped.
Oh yeah, tell him how you got beat up.
So
tell him the story.
Man. I was actually trying to defend somebody, okay?
The peacemaker.
I was trying to make peace, right? There was 3 guys that liked guys, right? They were all in the same pod.
Well, that's convenient.
Right, but they kind of outed one person. They were being mean, which was Tracy. Tracy had long hair. And I was like, why y'all picking on Tracy? Tracy's so nice. Relax, you know? And Tracy could braid hair and everything. Everyone loved Tracy. And so, like, through the air duct, we could talk shit to them, to the 2 other ones that were in there. And there was 3 of us up there. And I had one guy that was like 6 foot, 300. We call him Polar Bear, big white boy. So he was with us, so we were talking shit. You know, we had a little backup. And we were talking shit through the air duct all night one night. And the next day, he ends up in like the cell with the other guy, and they're about to fight. So I'm like, ooh, let me get a first row seat to this. I want to see this, you know? So I like stick my head in, trying to watch, and his buddy walks up behind me and just slaps me right in the face. Boom. Slaps the shit out of me. And so like I turn and look at him. People are looking at me. I'm like, oh my God, I got to fight this guy. And he's jacked, like he's, swole. So I just start swinging, and I miss every punch. He's just, I'm like, fuck, man. And if we rewind it just a little bit, you know what I'm saying? The night before, I dropped my jumpsuit in the water in the shower, so it got really wet. So the only one that they had in the desk was like a 4XL. So I got the biggest jumpsuit you could ever see, rolled up, looking like Ronald McDonald. It's just crazy, right? And
what an unfortunate series of events.
Yeah. And so he does the dodging, right? I can't hit him. He's like, get in the cell, bitch. That's what he said to me. I'm like, so I just grab him by his throat and just start squeezing his throat with my fingernails, hard as I can, right? And he reaches with his other hand and grabs the back of my jumpsuit and pulls it over my head. No way. I said, what the fuck am I doing right now? How is this? Like, what is happening? You know what I mean? And so I'm holding with this arm, right? I got this arm over my face. And he's just, just uppercutting me just over and over and over again. I can't get free. And he pushed me back in the cell. And then the two other guys that I know are just sitting there watching, not helping, just not being team players. You know what I mean? Not breaking it up, not stopping nothing. Just let me get waxed.
They said all this man does is talk shit, and it's about time he learns. That they knew. They were like, let's just let him. So, wait, how did it get broken up?
It just got over, and like, he was like, basically like, yeah, bitch, and then left. And I didn't say nothing, because I'm not no snitch future. But they looked at the cameras, and then they came and got him and got me, and they put us both in solitary confinement. But the catch was, I was going back to another county the next day. So we both were about to be in solitary confinement for 30 days. But I got shipped to another facility, so I got out, and he had to sit in solitary. But they pulled me upstairs. They're like, man, you really picked the right one, dude. Like, this guy is like, goes to prison and fights dudes. Like, what are you doing picking a fight with him? You know what I'm saying? Like, why? I didn't do it, man. He just came and hit me. Everybody just come and tax me. What am I supposed to do?
Never his fault.
Never. You know what I mean? To segue off what we were talking about, the drugs and everything. This is why I get so just stressed about people calling me lucky. Because like, I have been in unfortunate situations, and I obviously put myself there. I'll take all the responsibility and blame for the terrible things of my life, but I lived in a tent in the woods, strung out on drugs, and I pulled myself out of it, Like I when I got out of jail, I did drugs again. Like, it just wasn't like, but then I told myself that I have to get out of here. I have to change my life, So I moved away. I started rebuilding myself. I started working out again. I started reading books. I said, I'm never going to be that person again. I'm going to be somebody entirely different, And I just think that a lot of people don't understand that the opportunity of today is something we all possess. And in this opportunity, we can turn our lives around and become the best version of ourselves. We can chase and attempt any goal, any dream, any ideal. And the chances are, if you don't give up, you will experience some level of success in whatever it is you chase. You may not reach the highest point or the exact expectation you seek, but you can make it. And the thought that it's too late for you, the thought that you're not good enough,
or you've done too much wrong, or
any of it. It's just it's simply wrong. It's just not right. And I don't care what your parents tell you, what your friends tell you, what anyone tells you. You have just as much of an opportunity as anyone else if you woke up this morning to become the best version of yourself, to build a world that you don't hate, that you don't live in fear, that you don't feel like is crumbling in around you. You know, it's all very possible. It's all very real. And anyone at any point can turn their life around. I don't think any external situation at the time or person or individual can deal. Like, I feel in my mind very lonely a lot. So even with Caitlin, I love Caitlin to death. She's my sweetie pie. You know what I'm saying? I still feel very lonely with her, you know? And that's not like a slight against Caitlin. It's more about the things that go on in my head. You know what I mean? It's the things that I deal with. So like my drug problem was never really the problem at all. The problems I face are internal that I've dealt with since before the drugs even happened, that I've dealt with since an adolescent boy, that I've dealt with through my life when I'm not on drugs. So that's why I really don't talk about the drug thing, because it's not the real problem. I try and talk about the other problems that lead to a solution that's unhealthy. Drugs are a coping mechanism. They're an unhealthy solution to a problem. But the problem itself is the things that I talk about on Instagram, the things that I preach about, you know.
Even though you didn't have Kate, hopefully your parents and friends were a strong support system.
I had one friend, and that's all I really needed at the time. I had one friend that didn't have room for me in his house, didn't have the money to help me, didn't have anything. But since I was such a good friend to him before this all kind of happened to me, he let me stay at his house. He got me away from my family. That wasn't really helpful at all because they kind of live in the same world that I was talking about. And he just let me stay there and gather my life, you know. And it helped me a lot, get back on my feet. And I just kept clawing away, chomping at the bit, moving, you know. I was making Instagram videos called Sauna Talk. I was doing all kinds of stuff that wasn't working out. But a lot of my friends it touched, though. So, like, they would talk to me in public. They're like, yo, bro, we love Sauna Talk. Just keep going. Keep going, Dees. Just keep it going, bro.
I think that's the difference between me and you. Is like I've always had more like family support.
Mm-hmm.
Yours is more friendship support.
Yeah.
For sure.
So what do you guys think about China, Russia, South Africa, Brazil?
We got to worry about them too?
They're all in cahoots.
Oh, no.
Is the economy going to crash? What do you guys know? You know anything about that?
Anyone on the inside?
You know, they said that COVID was a malicious attempt to destabilize the economy to push forward the world currency. That's what they're saying.
It all terrifies me. And when you grow up Southern Baptist and you get preached the book of Revelations to in a terrifying way, this kind of stuff, you don't even want to hear about it. Like, stop. Like, I don't want to hear it. What do you do in a situation when the world's just ending, you know?
Fight for your life.
Why, though? What do you have, like, what comes after the world ending?
Well, what's going to first be the problem is the groceries and gas.
So should we be, like, stocking up?
On canned goods and stuff?
Yeah.
Yes.
Probably, right?
Yeah, I guess yes. I can't say no to that.
I really probably should pay more attention, but I just don't. Because I don't feel like I'm ever being told the truth anywhere. So, like, I just don't know. Like, I'm like, you know?
You guys want to hear something crazy?
Dude, you got more crazy for us? Sure.
Wednesday, I will be going to a comedy show, and the owner says that he wants to put me on stage for 5 minutes for stand-up comedy.
I'm so scared.
Wouldn't that be crazy, guys? Is it going to be crazy or what? Am I going to succeed or am I going to fail?
I think, like, he's so funny. I'm just, like, scared that other people won't think he's funny.
What am I gonna do when they don't think I'm funny? Start just, throw the chair at them?
And I gotta go. He's not gonna let me not go.
She has to go record it.
Oh, hell.
I was just gonna be like, listen, guys, things are getting crazy. China, Russia. Jesus is probably gonna come back, and the first thing he's gonna think is, you guys made fucking nail guns? I think that's funny. That's a good opener. You know what I'm saying? He's like, you fucking made nail guns? After all this shit, you just gonna go and make a fully automatic nail gun?
See, that's funny. But what if you don't remember that? What if you get on stage and you don't remember anything?
And just freeze?
That's funny.
Yeah. And I asked him, I was like, hey, I see on your website, it says LGBTQ friendly. I was like, can you not make jokes about that stuff? He said, oh, no, you can say whatever you want, dude. Wide open. We said, you're allowed to say whatever you want. Because I'm like, damn, oh, I don't, that's the thing about YouTube is I'm so scared. On TikTok and YouTube, my comedy is literally, it's not even my full power. It's so restricted.
It is. He says some funny ass shit.
We just, yeah.
Funny stuff. And then we had to think about it, if you said that online,
Yeah, and I get canceled.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like cancel culture is kind of going away, though. I feel like people are just so sick of it, and they're like, let's just be funny. Who cares?
I'm about to just open the floodgates and get canceled to see how far I can push it.
I mean, that's the thing, though. Look at Jeffree Star. The stuff that he has said and done, and he still has a following. I mean, so many people. The Ace family, there's so many people out there who, have been canceled time and time again, and just still, people don't care.
I'm nervous about me talking about the drugs and that stuff going on our YouTube. I'm nervous about it. But that's probably why I should put it up there.
Yeah. I think if you're not receptive and open to hearing about those stories, that you just have something wrong with you.
Well, I'm just so worried about how people think of me and oh, you're just a fucking junkie. Maybe that's just because of what I think of myself.
Right. Let's not project your insecurities onto.
Yeah.
I don't doubt that people will, but some people are shitty. And those people we don't want following us anyway.
Yeah.
It's just hard when you answer every comment.
I just want people to like me.
Yeah.
Because I just want everyone to like everyone and be nice. Mm-hmm. But I want to say jokes.
Jokey jokes.
I've been getting on Caitlin with some jokey jokes. She's not having it.
Because these jokey jokes aren't real jokes. They are meaningful.
They're not meaningful.
There is meaning behind them.
No. I'm just a bullshit artist. And so I pull from the web of bullshit and I spin a web that's almost very believable. And then I just hit her.
He literally just described to you the definition of manipulation. But then he says he's not manipulative.
I'm not. I don't use my powers. Every Jedi could use the dark side of the Force, but they don't. I will say this, chat. I'm done making the style of shorts we make. I'm done. And it's been a good run, 3 years. But I want to make something different. And I don't want to quit. I'm not giving up what we're doing. I would love for it to evolve into something different. Because I just don't think it's funny anymore. Mm-hmm. I'm funny. And she's funny. And we have funny moments. But I just don't want to harass her anymore on video.
He harassed me enough, so he's over it now.
I'm just...
Now that he's broken me down to my core.
It's just
from harassment.
True.
He's over it.
She's gaslighting. She's victim shaming.
You are no longer allowed to use that word. That word, done. You cannot say that word no more.
She's electric shaming.
Don't worry. He likes to groom.
I'm not a groomer.
That's why I'm 10 years younger than you.
It's nothing to do with anything. We were just compatible people, Ages.
I got groomed.
Oh, my God. I didn't do a very good job. She talks back too much. But yeah, so we're just going to be funny. We're going to hang out with you guys. We're going to do Twitch more often. We're going to do our vlogs. We're going to do our little podcast. And we're going to post clips of the Twitch on our short form content things. And now, every once in a while, I'll think of like a really good idea that we got to do it. And that's cool. I like the hypothetical situations where we say funny stuff. I like where we're sitting in the car and we say funny stuff. I like doing those. But I'm just done making corny content that I don't like. And I'm allowed to do that.
Is it hot in here or what?
That's not that bad. It was hotter that one time. Getting hot in here, so take off all your clothes.
What are you eating for dinner?
So hot, I'm gonna take my clothes off. I don't know, probably chicken again.
Well, you're the one who got like
Is anyone tired of eating chicken?
30% fat ground beef.
I got the cheap one.
Yeah, because it's 73% meat and 30 or 27% fat.
It's hamburger meat.
That's disgusting.
I don't understand it. How do you taste the difference to me? I don't know.
It's just extra fat. That's all. It's not meat. It's less meat, more fat.
You drank.
Oh, don't even start. Shut up. Don't even start. Don't.
She made me.
How dare you?
And she gonna talk about the meat.
How dare you? You want to talk about what we ingest in our bodies? Fucking heroin and cocaine. And talk to me about eating my fucking Starbucks.
So now she thinks she's got a green light to gaslight. I get it now. I see what we're doing.
Not what gaslighting means.
Low blower. Mm-hmm. Not just verbally. You punch below the belt. That's what I meant.
I mean, you don't have to go that low because you're not that tall. How have your lives changed since becoming YouTube sensations? It got harder.
Yeah.
It got like really hard because we have to like keep making content and it doesn't always come easy.
Yeah.
So it's hard. But it is also like a blessing. We live very like comfortably in the way that we can just be with our kids all the time. And we get to stay home with our children and we kind of make our own schedule. Like that's really cool.
And there's no risk of our children getting shot in a public school or private school.
Yeah, for sure. Like they're with us, so they're safe, you know? And I have to remind myself like what a privilege it is to live the life I do. Because some people don't get this privilege, you know? Some people don't get to make the decision to pull their kids out and keep them at home with them, you know? Like, they don't get to make that decision because they have to go to work and make money. And I feel very blessed and very privileged to be able to live the life I do because I get to stay home and be with my kids or with me and safe under my roof, like, as long as they're with me. And yeah, I just think, you know, everyone's solution to the school shooting is pull your kids out, homeschool them, blah, blah, blah. And people don't understand like that. Not everyone can do that. That's a privilege to be able to do that. Some people have to go to work. They have to have a 2-income household. They have to. And they can't just, you know, it's or some people, you know, their kids need school. Like, for example, like I know some kids do better, like special ed kids do better going to school and having that in their routine.
Yeah, it's because the thing is, too, is like when our kids are raised by us at our house with us, you know, there's no excuse later on down the road. It's like, oh, this is just because you went those friends you were hanging out with at school. You know, it's that damn school you went to that made you this way. It's like, damn, this is my fault. I fucked up. I made a mistake. I was a bad parent. And I want to make sure that if they do turn out or they do make mistakes, you know, that I take responsibility, and I want to put them in a position to where I know I'm going to take responsibility for it. So,
remember when we were kids, our parents would drop us off at the mall or movies and come back 4 hours later knowing we were safe. My parents never did that with me.
I was.
But with him, yeah.
I had a pager when I was a kid, a purple, clear, like a clear see-through pager. And I went to the skating rink, and sometimes the skating rink was 7 to 7 a.m., and I just stayed the night there. And that pager went off. I ran to the gas station next door and picked up the paid phone and called my dad. So that's how I live.
I mean, you just can't do that nowadays.
Yeah.
That's just not like, I get nervous letting my kids go to the neighbor's house that we know very well. Like, because you just never freaking know nowadays. It's terrifying. But I mean, you can't live your life in fear. You know, you have to live life. But you can do things to make your fear go away a little better. And ours is keeping our kids home with us, under our roof, and under our supervision.
Is it true it's hard to date a single mom? I don't know, man. I never had any issues with single moms. They seemed like the best candidate. It just depended on the situation.
I saw this TikTok. This guy was talking, and he's like, why would you ever be with a single mom knowing that, you know, like, you guys could break up and you would never see that kid again, a kid that you helped raise, blah, blah, blah. And then Andrew, he's like, why would you go into a relationship thinking of failure, like thinking of what's going to happen when it fails? Like, yeah, there's always that risk, but like, if you're going into that relationship thinking, what if we break up? Like, you probably shouldn't be in that relationship. Like, the end goal of a relationship is to be together forever, right? Marriage, kids, like, and I just think, you know, and everyone wants to talk about being with a single mom. Like, let's talk about being with a single dad. We talk about that. There are single dads. And, you know, most women aren't going to sit here complaining about, I would never be with a single dad, blah, 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 blah. Like, and then to be like, to live life getting older and older and older and thinking you're not going to find someone who, like, people, almost everyone has a kid now, like, the older you get. And I think it just depends on, like you just have to choose the right single mom.
Yeah.
But if you look at someone, you're like, oh, she's a single mom, like, I'm not going to be with you. Like, that's your decision, sure. But, like, don't tell other people, like, not to live that life. It's just so weird.
Let me answer Luke first. He said, I have 3 daughters, and I'm worried about when my girls get old enough to date because I don't want to be controlling on who they can and can't date based on personalities, character. They don't bad choices on down the road. Yeah, I agree. I'm worried about it too. I guess I got a long time. You got your time frame's a little shorter than mine because your girls are a little older. I don't really have to deal with that quite yet, but I feel like there's either 2 options. They're going to date someone like me or opposite of me. But then sometimes they date someone like me, but my younger version of me, and that scares me. Like, don't date younger me. But
so, as a girl who used to date, right, my advice would be, don't restrict. When you restrict, you make them want that subconsciously. Like, I'm just telling you from experience. Don't, like, say, like, you can't date this person. That they will go date them behind your back. That just will happen. Like, if they're like it, if they like someone, and then you tell them, like, you're not going to see him, blah, 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 they will find a way. They will find a way. Okay, I know. I was there. I think that the best you can do is, one, make sure they don't get pregnant. Okay, birth control immediately, or just teach them about, you know, all that. That's, like, one thing I would definitely be strict on, is, like, birth control. But just being as open as you can, no matter how awkward it is, because at the end of the day, like, your teenagers just want to confide in you, but they're so scared of how you're going to react. So, like, don't overreact. Just try to be chill about, like, everything. Like, I would have told my parents so many more things if I thought they weren't going to freak out. And now, like, my sisters tell my mom so much stuff that I'm, like, sitting there mortified. Like, what? If I told you that, you would have freaked out. But, I mean, she learned that, like, don't freak out. Your kids are going to tell you. And now my sisters, like, they're much younger than me, and they can pretty much do whatever they want. I mean, they have boundaries, but they can date whoever, they can be with whoever, they can pretty much do whatever, and they hardly get in trouble. And it's like, wow, go figure. Like, you were so strict on me, and I was in trouble all the time, and now you got my sisters who are allowed to do very much more than I was ever do, and they don't get in trouble. Because they have boundaries, they have trust, they have openness, they're allowed to be children. So I think with my girls, as awkward, and boys, obviously with Aurelius is gonna be harder, because if he ever cheats on someone, I'm gonna beat his ass, okay? But that's different, then we'll talk about the girls. But with them, I think being so open and us loving each other and Andrew treating me and them correctly is going to give them the foundation for their relationship. So if you just treat your daughters right, bring them flowers, be so kind to them, they will know who to be with. And if you treat their mother correctly, they will know. They will be with someone who is like you. So you be correct. All right, that's all for this episode of the Beauty and the Bold, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for being here. Make sure to like, subscribe, and turn the notifications on. Let us know what you think about these podcasts in the comments.
See you guys later.
Bye.